Good evening, listeners and viewers of TDN Media, and of course, This Week in Interview. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Interview with your host and guide, Anthony Drago. It's a pleasure to be with you as usual on these Wednesday evenings, and I'm really looking forward to tonight's conversation. My guest tonight is a young lady. I introduce her as an entrepreneur. She is also a doctor. I think she will give us more details, but a doctor in psychology and also psychiatry. But the reason why she's on with me tonight is because she's passionate about swimming. And, I believe that everything that has to do with water should be centered around Dominica. And so, Father Coffee, he's the guardian of our rivers. He introduced us. And I thought it would have been very nice to bring her on so she can tell us what she is doing in terms of swimming. Uh, my regular listeners, welcome back. I always appreciate you coming back every Wednesday. You've been doing that for years now, and I don't want you to stop anytime soon. And if tonight is the first time that you're listening to this weekend interview, welcome as well. I hope that you will become a regular listener also. I don't know how you're listening to us right now because we are on TDN Radio, which is where we started, just radio, and we also have TDN TV for those that don't really do social media. But a lot of you join us on Facebook on This Week in Interview Facebook page, TDN Caribbean Radio Facebook page, also on YouTube. This Week in Interview has a YouTube channel as well. Like and subscribe and follow. TDN also has a Facebook page. We're on Instagram, Roku, and some of the other social media settings. So if that's where you are, give us a like, subscribe, follow. Let us know that you hear your comments as well. The RVR Jams radio on DigiPlay channel 59 carries This Week in Interview Live, as well as online radio SBE in the Toronto market brings This Week in Interview Live. So wherever you're listening to us from, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you. Sorry for the late start. I struggled with traffic a little bit, but I'm here. I'm here. We started about 5 or 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, and I apologize for that. I don't take your time for granted, and so I appreciate you hanging out and waiting for me to come on. All right. Without much further ado, let me bring up my guest. As I said, her name is Dr. Carla Ashby. She is, hi, she's a psychologist, a psychiatrist as well, I think. She will remind me. I only got introduced to her yesterday. So I'm really, really honored that she said yes on short notice. And what really brought her to my attention is the fact that she has a swim school and a pool resort. She's the founder and operator of Phoenix Swim School and Pool Resort. And we're going to ask her about that. We're going to ask her about her work. We're going to ask her about the intersection between psychology, psychiatry, and swimming. So, Dr. Ashby, a very warm welcome to you to this weekend interview. Your mic is muted. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much for having me on board. I feel very, very honored.
Yeah, I was so happy when you said yes. The thing is, I know Father Coffee is super super passionate about rivers, and every year he
Yes.
doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. As soon as one World River Day is done, he's already counting down 364 days to the next World River Day.
Yes, he is. He can't
He is
stop talking about it.
about it. Exactly. And so I invited him on, and he said, there's some things going on this week, and next week will be better because he has some things in the work that he may have more information on for next week. And then he says, well, Dr. Ashby we've been collaborating, so she might
Yes.
be part of the conversation. And then I said, well, she can have her own conversation with us, Doctor. And so I
Oh,
was
I feel
super
very
excited.
special.
But I was super excited when you said yes. So tell us about you
Oh, thank you.
and what you do. Let's get to know who is Dr. Carla Ashby.
Okay, so I am a doctor, so I'm a medical doctor. I specialize in mental health. So I'm a psychiatrist,
Okay.
and I also have a PhD in psychology because
Oh.
mental health is my passion. I guess through my own personal struggles and professional experience, I feel very, very strongly about mental health and the importance of mental health. And on top of that, I'm also a very passionate swimmer. So I used to swim competitively when I was much younger, in my younger days. I swam on a national and international level. So
Mm,
swimming has always been not just a passion, but also therapy for me. And being a doctor, I guess, swimming has a lot of it's very important to me, just not just for therapy, but on a healing process as well, medically, spiritually, psychologically. Um, and I'm sure you're going to ask me questions later about, the benefits of swimming. So there are so many benefits to swimming and being in the water. As a doctor, I do a lot of aquatherapy too with my patients
mm,
for rehab. So patients who have injuries, who have just recovered from surgery, my elderly patients, we do a lot of aquarobics, hydrotherapy, things like that. So water is basically healing. And especially living in Dominica, where we are surrounded by, Caribbean Sea, the Atlantic Ocean, and 365 rivers, it is essential to know about water safety and swimming. So hence I decided to start my swim school, which is called Phoenix Swim School and Pool Resort.
and pool resort.
And
Where
yes, and pool
where
resort.
let's I wanted to ask you about this psychology and psychiatry and the
Sure.
difference between them. So you say you have a medical degree, so you're an actual medical doctor, and you
Yes.
said that is in psychiatry, and then you have a
Yes.
PhD in psychology. So
Yes,
let's
that's
start
right.
there and unpack that a little bit for my audience. All of us may
Sure.
not be familiar with. Sometimes we interchange the words. I know they're not supposed to be interchangeable. So let's explain the difference between those two fields.
Sure. So, psychology is basically the study of mental health. So, I'm sure people have gone to, a lot of people have gone to see a counselor or psychologist at some point in time in their lives where they sit
Hmm.
down, they talk about their problems, and then the psychologist does a diagnosis. For example, they say, okay, you've got depressive disorder, you've got anxiety disorder, things like that. So that's the job of a psychologist. Now, if we take it one step further, a psychiatrist does something is similar to that, but a psychiatrist can prescribe medication.
Hmm.
So if someone is, say, for example, suffering from a very, very serious disorder, or say schizophrenia, for example, and they require medication to help them cope, with their mental illness. So that's where the psychiatrist comes in. The psychiatrist can actually prescribe medication for them. And the
Hmm.
psychiatrist also does more in-depth, more complex diagnosis too, that things that the psychologist may or may not want to do, or sometimes the psychologist might not be able to do because it's far too complex. And especially if it involves working with patients in the psychiatry sorry, psychiatric wards in the hospital. Usually that's kind of the job of the psychiatrist to deal with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So do
I
you
hope
so do
that's
you so do you work at the hospital in Dominica?
I do a bit of consulting work. My work is primarily in private practice because I
Okay.
also have an online telehealth, telepsychology international practice. That's 24/7. So that's my other job. So my
I
clients
see.
are all international clients. So I work primarily through that. I have
Okay.
worked in hospitals before, but
Not
now
in the hospital
I'm
in
getting
Dominica.
too old and no.
So, I mean, if you want to say how people can find you, if somebody wants
Sure,
to retain
sure.
your services, feel free.
Sure. So my practice, my online practice is called Our Solution Specialist. So if they just Google our solutions specialist .com, you'll be able to find the website, and then you can just click, just follow the instructions and click on the link. There is a WhatsApp button as well, so people can chat to me directly on WhatsApp. They can ask questions or make bookings, things like that. They can actually make bookings directly on the website, but if they do have questions, feel free to, click on the WhatsApp button and have a chat with me. I'm always
Awesome.
I'm always available.
Always available. All right.
Yeah.
So let me
It is
ask.
a 24/7 site. So usually I work on a roster with a couple of other colleagues that are doctors and psychiatrists and other
Okay,
professionals
I
across
see.
across the world. So we work on different time zones. So
All
yeah.
right, I see that. Okay, so I let me ask, how did you come to be in Dominica then?
Well, I came to Dominica because, I had a couple of friends who basically said to me, there is a massive shortage of people with your skill set here.
Hmm.
So they said, you should consider. So through a couple of networks, I guess, you know, people who are interested in my work, I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to give it a go because I've always wanted to come to the Caribbean anyway. My work has taken me across the globe to a lot of countries. I've done a lot of work in different countries, especially humanitarian work as well.
Okay.
So I thought, you know what? It's about time I came to the Caribbean. It's on my bucket list.
And you
So,
ended
and
up
I
in the
love it,
and,
and I
and
just love it.
you ended up in the best place that you could have landed
Yes,
in the
yes,
Caribbean.
pretty much.
I see. I strongly
Pretty
believe that.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
How long have you been in Dominica?
So I've been here for probably 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still learning the island then.
I'm still new. I'm still new. I said my goal is to visit all 365 rivers. I mean, I haven't come close to it, but I'll get there.
It's an open secret that there may not be 365.
I'll have to bring my notepad and, take notes
Yeah,
just to
and
count. And
and
then
a
I'll
map.
let Father Cuffy know.
Uh,
If
uh,
it's not, he'll be devastated.
right, right, and your map so you can map out exactly where.
Yes,
Yeah, but
yes.
so far those that you've seen, they're pretty impressive, right?
Yeah, I love the rivers. I mean, Dominica is to me it's almost like it's like the Garden of Eden. Yeah, it's just so untouched. It's so beautiful. It's one of the very few places on this planet that's actually untouched. And it's just beautiful, where it's not polluted, the air is still fresh. You can just jump into the river or even go to the Sus and get some Sus water to drink. I mean, I love that. There's not very many places in the world where you can actually do that nowadays, with all the
Exactly,
pollution and everything. So it's
exactly.
just beautiful.
And you're learning the local lingo. I see you calling it sus, right?
I hope that was the right term
Exactly.
for it.
No, that's exactly what it is. And
Oh, good, good.
where in Dominica is your swim school and pool spa located?
So my swim school is in Checkall
Okay.
Valley.
Uh-huh.
Yep, so it's near Pioneer Prep School. So if you just keep going up the hill, yeah,
Mm.
you'll
So
see
it's
it.
in Checkall. Okay, yeah, I know where at the back of where
Checkall
our
Valley.
disco used to be. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so it's actually against the Checkall River. So the swimming pool actually backs against the river and the forest.
Right.
Yeah,
Must be a
so
wonderful
it's an awesome
ambiance and
view.
yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. It's like my paradise. Whenever I'm in the water, I just think I'm on a different planet, different world.
And so you said that swimming has been your passion.
Yes,
Um, you said you competed, I guess not professionally, but on a national level and
yes,
competitively.
yes, I have.
And so you've decided now to pass on some of your skills and your experience and your knowledge around swimming to others. How is that going? What inspired you to do it in Dominica? Um, I'm happy that you're doing it actually because I I think it's a sin to grow up in Dominica and not be able to swim.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I was really surprised by how many people couldn't swim, or how many people classified doggy paddling as swimming, you know.
Mhm. Well,
And
yeah, yeah, informal. Um, I don't think I've ever taken a swim class.
really,
I
well,
have
you'll
never,
have to come to Phoenix Swim School then.
I have never taken a swim class, but I can swim. I haven't challenged myself in swimming in a long time. So maybe I'm still existing on my previous youthful energy. But like growing up in Dominica, I grew up in Castlebrose. I don't know if you've been to
Ah,
Castlebrose, on the east coast. And Castlebrose
mm,
is one of the villages that has the most rivers um,
wow.
in there. There's Castlebrose River, there is Belfry River, there is Yellow River, there is Senhouse River, there is Waka. There's about five mm, reasonable size, by Dominica standards, reasonable size rivers.
Yeah.
And so when I was growing up, a lot of the basins used to be deep enough. They unfortunately they've lost a lot of their depth because the rivers have a lot less flow. But we used to
Yeah.
be able to stand on the bridges and jump into the water, and I'm still here, so obviously it wasn't that shallow. Right? And that's how we learn.
You made it.
That's how we learn to swim. Just jump in the deep
Yes.
end and find your way back
Sink
to
or
shore.
swim, yeah? The sink
Right,
or swim
right, right.
response, yeah.
Well, it was, yeah, it was like you see the other kids having so much fun.
Yeah.
There's no way you can stay in the shallow, and there's so much fun happening. So you get yourself out there and you swim. Somehow we survived that. So
Yes.
when I hear you say that people doggy paddle and, and say that swimming, that that's a real informal way. But
Yes.
right. Uh, But I guess when you teach them, because you've been a competitive swimmer,
Yeah.
you actually teach them the various strokes, right?
Yes. Yes. So I teach them the different styles of
Hmm.
swimming, like breaststroke, freestyle, backstroke,
Hmm.
butterfly, things like that. And most importantly, I teach them how to float because a lot of people can't float.
Right.
And for me, I do a lot of water safety training as part of my swimming classes because I say to my students, it doesn't matter how good a swimmer or how accomplished you are, if you can't float in the water, your chances of survival are very slim. Because if you fall overboard in an ocean and there's no land nearby and you can't float, you haven't got a life jacket. I mean, you can swim, but eventually you're going to tire yourself out.
Right.
So floating is the most important skill to have because floating also helps you to relax and you're not expending energy, you're not exhausting yourself. So that is the basic skill I teach all my students. So from level one. So I have 6 levels
Hmm.
and we go from level one. So they learn to float from level one and we progress up to level 6. And then
Right.
after that is competitive level.
I'm so excited about that because I, I really feel that anything that has to do with water, Dominica should be at the center of that conversation,
Yes.
including swimming. I
Yeah.
just feel that Dominica has to do a better job of branding itself
I
as
agree.
a water island. And can you
Yes.
imagine if a young Dominican can go to the Olympics as a swimmer
Mm-hmm.
or a diver?
Yep.
That would be awesome and great. Now I have a break at 8:30, but so
Sure.
before we go to the break, let's tell folks how they can find your swim enterprise, your swimming class, your swimming school, and how they
Yep.
can register for it.
Sure. So I'm on Facebook. So if you go onto Facebook or Instagram and you look up Phoenix Swim School and Pool Resort, you can contact me there. There is a WhatsApp button, so people can WhatsApp me directly to make inquiries. That's the best way to contact me. And that you can also message me on Messenger, Facebook, place a comment if you're not really tech savvy like myself,
Mhm.
just
Right, right, right.
stick a comment and then I can respond to the comment. Um,
If
so if
someone is not on
people,
Facebook, if someone is
if
not
they're
on
not on
Facebook,
Facebook, they can contact me on WhatsApp.
okay.
So um, my WhatsApp number, I can give it to
Yeah,
them.
you
It's
can.
seven. Yep, it's +1 767 265 7309. Okay, so you can
Let's
WhatsApp
hold on.
me.
Let's say that again. Let me notice. Hold on. Say it again,
Shall I
please.
slow down a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, so it's +1
Uh-huh.
767 for Dominica
Mm-hmm.
265
265
7309.
7309. All right,
Yeah.
folks. So,
So feel
eh,
free to contact me. I have
right.
people message me all the time inquiring about my swimming classes because I also do a collaboration with the Dominica Olympics Committee and the Dominica Swimming Association.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, they come and train here, and I help to train the athletes as well. So
Regular
we're
athlete.
very passionate about swimming.
Yeah. So you can do like stamina or breath work with regular athletes. Is that when you say you or you only do swimmers?
No, so I do anything to do with the water.
Mm-hmm.
So if sometimes I do help them train for like diving,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not so much free diving because free diving is something totally
Different,
separate.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we work on like, increasing their lung capacity, increasing their endurance, their stamina. Because a lot of the time some students like they're good swimmers, they have the technique right, but they don't have the stamina and the endurance, which a lot of the time comes from practice anyway. It's like any
Right.
other form of sport or exercise. You have to practice and build yourself up.
So well, not so funny story. My daughter, she's been taking swim lessons. Like she's adult.
Nice.
My adult daughter, she's taking swim lessons, and
Yep.
she comes to me and she says, her instructor says she does everything well, but breathing, like she doesn't
Ah,
get the technique right, how to breathe when she's swimming. I'm like, what is that?
okay.
so
Yes.
so
It's a breathing technique.
the
Yes.
breathing technique. I'm like, I swim and I don't worry about how I breathe. I mean,
Most
right?
people don't think about
Don't
that,
think about it, right?
No.
But she was in Dominica for the entire month of July, and I wish
Yep.
I knew about your school because I would have told her go check you out and get some lessons
Ah,
from you
well, next time she
next time
comes,
for sure, for
I'm
sure.
open all year round.
Hmm.
Even in winter, I'm in the water pretty much every day. When I'm not training people, I'm swimming myself. So I
Right,
do my own laps and yeah,
right. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the benefits of swimming. We're going to go a little deeper into water safety
yep,
because that is something that I see. Safety in general is something that has me very worried about my people. Whether it's
yes,
construction, whether it's driving, whether it's motorcycle riding,
yes.
fishermen, um, just people using the rivers, people using the beach. It just seems as though safety is not in terms of list of priority one, two, or three. It's maybe somewhere like 10 or 12,
At the
or
bottom,
if
yeah,
at all, right? So
yeah,
I really want to talk about that in terms of safety in the water. So
yeah.
let's take a quick break. When we
Good
come back,
idea.
we're going to continue my conversation with Dr. Carla Ashby. She is a psychologist. She has a PhD in psychology. She has her medical degree in psychiatry, and but she's also an avid swimmer, competing at the national level. And she has established a swim school and a pool resort in Dominica, and is doing a tremendous contribution, in my opinion, to the population, to the community, because it is unacceptable, one, that you grow up in Dominica where we are surrounded by the ocean, plus you get wet every day from rain. You cross 100 rivers going anywhere you go into Dominica, and there are folks who cannot swim. So I think she's helping to take that out, but also how we can educate ourselves around water so that we can be more comfortable with this most valuable resource that Dominica has. So stay tuned. After the break, we're going to continue my conversation with Dr. Ashby.
Presented by
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
Hey y'all, I just discovered an amazing plugin called Joan, Jock on Air Now, for managing my radio station's on-air schedule. It keeps your visitors updated on what's playing and when their favorite hosts are live. Trust me, Joan is the best choice for your WordPress site. There's a free version available in the WordPress repository, and it's definitely worth trying. If you want even more features, Joan Premium lets you easily edit your schedule with just a click. No need to delete and re-add shows. Don't miss out on Joan. Get it now from the WordPress plugins repository or visit the developers at gndenterprisesinc.com for more info.
Writers, we need you. We've got exciting news. Get ready to immerse yourself in the exciting world of words at the Write to Kubuli Virtual Literary Festival. From September 15th to 20th, 2025, we're showcasing the incredible talents of writers of Dominican descent. Join us for inspiring panels, thought-provoking workshops, captivating readings, all from the comfort of your own home. You can engage with your favorite authors, participate in workshops, and dive into discussions that spark your intellect and imagination. You don't want to miss out on this vibrant celebration of culture and creativity. Make sure to save the date, September 15th to 20th. Follow us on social media for updates. Let's hashtag Write to Kubuli together. We're trending. Register now.
All right, welcome back, and thanks for staying with us through the break. My guest tonight on this weekend interview is Dr. Carla Ashby. And she is a psychiatrist, a psychologist, but the reason that she is here with us is because she loves the water. She's always in the water, as she says. She's an avid swimmer, swam competitively, and right now she has opened a swim school in Dominica, and so that's what brought her to my attention. And I invited her to be a guest to have a conversation with her. I could share the conversation with you, that we could know what she's doing, where she's doing it, and how you can benefit from the services that she offers. Her swim school is on in Checkall Valley. Like if you go past Canefield, small Canefield airstrip, on the right hand side on that Checkall River, if you go up that road past Pioneers School, she says she's right past there. You can find her on Facebook on uh, Phoenix Swim School and Pool Resort. But if you're not on Facebook, you can always reach her on WhatsApp with 767-265-7309. I'll, of course, if she's on Facebook, I guess you can always Google Phoenix Swim School and Pool Resort. So, Dr. Ashby, let's talk about water safety. I think it's so important we do that before we run out of time. Oh,
That is my favorite topic, Anthony.
all right, so I'm going to let you just run your feet to how do you introduce. Well, but before we go there, um, do you have any age group, any age restrictions on your students?
No, not at all. I get asked that all the time. Basically, I teach swimming from babies up to whatever age. There is no age limit for swimming. It's
For
never
swimming?
too late. Yeah.
Okay,
And the reason people ask me a lot of the time, how can you teach babies? Because babies have already an inbuilt subconscious memory of being in their mother's womb, which is surrounded by water anyway.
water.
So they've been swimming for 9 months. So when they come out, it's that's the perfect time to actually introduce them back to the water. I mean, there's certain ways we do that. Obviously, there's techniques we do that. We can't just throw the baby in the water.
Right?
But I have people ask me, what, you just drop them in? Like, no. So we introduce them back slowly, but that is the best age for them to,
Get that
reestablish
comfort
themselves
level.
back.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
yes.
right, so let's talk about safety. I'm gonna let you run with it. How you introduce safety to your students and how you take them along. Being aware of risk.
Okay. So basically, when I have my students, what I try and introduce to the parents, especially, with the children, is that all it takes is they just have to be under the water and not being able to breathe for less than 30 seconds. Okay, sometimes less, and then that's classified as drowning already. And if they inhale water for a shorter amount of time, that's secondary drowning. So I say to people, it's really, really important, especially for parents, you have to keep an eye on your child, especially if they can't swim. And if you're a good swimmer, don't be too complacent either, because there's things that could happen to you in the water, such as cramps or cramping. Okay, and people don't think about that. They think, no, I'm a good swimmer, I'm very fit. That's not going to happen to me. But anyone can get cramps. You can be the best swimmer in the world and you can still get a cramp. And if you get a cramp in the water, trust me, I've had cramps. It's really, really painful, and you can't swim, you can't do anything. Most people panic, and that's when they drown. So there's a lot of things that could happen in the water that people are not aware of, and I mean, I can't go through every single one of these
Hmm.
instances. So it's really important people use common sense when you're near the water. And also for organizations, I say to them, I have life jackets. And that should be the number one safety rule. If you're working anywhere near water or where there's water, you should have a life jacket on because the life jacket will save your life. I have done a couple of seminars and talks to certain groups, whether it's scouts groups, Girl Guides groups, and I'm actually surprised by the number of people like that go around water all the time, or they work near water and they don't even know how to put a life jacket on. So to me, I think that is the basic rule that all organizations should make compulsory. Like if you are going anywhere near the water, you need to have a life jacket. And obviously, I think they need to have a lifeguard on standby as well, just to make sure someone's keeping an eye on people. For
Right.
example, I do have I hire my pool out for events and parties. And a lot of the time we have big groups of people come in. And I say to them, it's really important we have to have a lifeguard on standby just to make sure, I mean, in that sense, they're fortunate because I'm a doctor. I have my practice here. I have my medical kit. So if anything goes wrong, I can jump in.
Right.
But in a lot of scenarios, if there's no such person around, no medic around, like you have to have someone. I mean, that people often don't think about that. They think, oh yeah, we'll have a pool party. But who's going to be the one to jump in and save someone? Let's say if they need saving. And also, saving someone's life is not that easy. It's not like in the movies where we see someone jump in and, they make it look so easy, but it's actually not. I've done a lot of lifeguard training courses with students, and they are actually shocked by how difficult it is to actually try and keep yourself afloat and try and save someone else's life at the same time. They say, my gosh, it looks so easy in the movies. I say, yeah, everything looks easy in the movies.
Right.
you know, but in real life, it's not, especially if the other person is much bigger than you. So you're essentially carrying two sets of weight. So there's a lot of things to consider.
Right. So I like where you started with just being aware.
Yeah.
Because not so much in the local population, but I see a lot of tourists and so come, and
Yes.
sometimes they're sunbathing and their
Yes.
kids are next to the pool or
Mm-hmm.
on the beach and the kids are next to the waves. And I'm like, you're far, first of all, you're not paying attention. Two, you're a little bit far away. It's going to take you a little
Mm-hmm.
while to get if there's an emergency situation. So I like
Exactly.
that that's where you started. It's even before you develop your swimming skills and all of that. Just
Yeah.
general basic common sense and
Mm-hmm.
awareness. And then you spoke about life jackets and things that can float. I always
Yeah.
cringe when I'm in Dominica because so many fishermen go out on their boats and they have no
Exactly.
life jackets. They have nothing in terms of gear
Yep.
for water safety. So do
Yeah.
you interact with the fishermen on a local basis? Have you had the opportunity to?
Not so much the fishermen, no.
Mm,
Not really, I have to say. I mean, the only time was when we had a swimming carnival once hosted by DASA, and it was held at Soufriere, and
uh-huh.
we had a couple of fishermen there, and I think because they had their boats parked, and they were trying to ask us what we were doing, and so one of the things I did raise was the fact that they had no life jackets.
They have no life jackets.
No, they had no life jackets. But a lot of them were so confident. They're
Yes,
like, "No, I've been doing this since I was a little boy." I said, "Yeah, no, but it's not your fault. I mean, you could drown for multiple reasons that are not your fault. So you could be the
right.
best swimmer in the world, and you could still drown. Or
Yeah,
if
you
you
hit your
get pulled by a
head,
rift or
or something.
exactly, exactly, an accident could happen, or you might get an illness and it pulls you overboard, and what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at that, and what amazes me is that the authorities don't seem to be more aggressive in terms of that education that is needed,
Yes.
and so I am super happy that that's where you're starting a life jacket, some kind of flotation device, somebody who's responsible to pay when everybody else is having fun. Somebody is
Mm-hmm.
designated to pay attention to the pool or to the river
Yes.
to see if somebody is in distress, because sometimes everybody is doing
Yes.
their own thing. It takes a little while before you realize somebody is in
Yes.
distress. And so as we
But
talk about water safety then, uh, and we get into the water, what do you tell them, your students, about water safety when they're in the water and actively swimming?
well, when they're in the water with me, when I run my class, I say to them, you have to listen to me.
Hmm.
Obviously, listen to instructions.
Right.
The adults are good because they're fine, and the older kids, but it's the younger children that tend to just do whatever they want to do, and some of them just, dive and things like that. So I have to actually pull them up and say, no, you have to listen. You have to listen.
Right.
It's very important because, and sometimes I have parents that they just don't realize how important and how crucial it is for the kids to listen because I'm trying to teach, especially in a group class. I have a group of children, and then parents are asking me, oh, can my other kids swim in the background? And I'm like, no. And I say to them, it's not because I'm being rude or anything. I said it's because it's my pool, it's my responsibility. If somebody drowns, I don't want that on me.
Right.
And I said, if somebody is going to be there, I need to be able to see them and to
Right.
make sure I know what they're doing. So if anything happens, I can be the one to rescue them because I can't rely on the parent to rescue them because a lot of the time the parents can't swim themselves.
Right.
So it's taking that responsibility, and also at the same time having that balance to try and explain to parents that no, I'm not saying your child can't swim in my pool because I'm being rude or
Or mean or
it's
anything. Yeah.
because exactly, and it's because it comes down to safety. I'm concerned about the safety of your child at the end of the day. And I want your child to be able to learn how to swim and to also respect the water. And I think that's very important because if you're in the water, you're in a different environment. You need to respect that environment. Whichever environment you go into, you have to respect that environment.
Right.
So that's
If it's in the ocean, in the river, in a
exactly,
pool, yeah, exactly. You have
yeah,
to respect, and you have to be aware and knowledgeable about
exactly.
about that environment. So how is your school organized? Do you do classes? Do you do like a 3 month session, a 6 month session? How do you organize your program?
So my swim school runs all year round.
Hmm.
Okay, so I operate basically 365 days a year, even on public holidays. So I have my classes all throughout the year. And if, say, I mean, I'm pretty flexible. So if over the holidays, let's say, a family comes to me and say, look, we want to do an intensive course for our kids to learn how to swim. And that's fine. So I can actually tailor a course for their child, of all their
Mm,
children to be able to swim according to their time frame. And I do get a lot of tourists that come and ask me as well. They say, I'm only going to be here for like a month. Can we do like a crash course? And I
right.
say, yeah, sure. But I mean, let's be realistic as well. I mean, in a month, you're not going to be able to swim like a pro.
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know. So, I mean, I can teach you as much as you can absorb in that month, and we can definitely cover quite a bit, but also depends on your time and how many sessions you're going to do in that month. So, I work with what people can like their time, their
Hmm.
budget, things like
Hmm.
that. So, I'm very flexible. I mean, the main thing is I operate my school based on a certification program. So they have level one. I have level one to level six. Level one and level two are beginners. Level
Hmm.
three and four are intermediate, and level five and six are advanced.
Advance. Right.
Okay, yes. So they learn the different swimming styles in the different levels. And so it's up to them. I say, whether you do a month course, a 3 month, a 6 month course, if you can master the different techniques in each level, then by all means you can progress as fast as you want to go. Or if you're not interested in the certificate, you just want to make sure you can swim properly to save your life, you can float, then that's fine as well. So I work with what people's needs are.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what I wanted to get out is like folks might be saying, well, I think I can swim. I just
Yeah.
want to learn some techniques. So I want to
Yes.
learn. Yeah. So they can
Yes.
basically contact you,
Yeah,
and you can see
definitely.
where they are.
Definitely.
You can bring them in, let them demonstrate what they can do, and then tailor
Yep.
a program, customize a program
Of
specific
course.
specific
Yeah,
for them. Right.
definitely, definitely. Because not everybody wants to swim at a competitive level.
Right.
Most people just want to be able to be confident enough, and that's what it comes down to. It's building their self-confidence in the water. So that they can go to the ocean, they can go to the river and swim confidently and know they're not going to drown.
Right. Now,
So.
Of course.
Mm.
No, go ahead. So
No, 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 go on.
in terms of I'm interested in developing swimming competitively in Dominica. When I say I'm interested, I mean I would like to see uh,
Yes.
Dominica competing in swimming. Uh, are there swim competitions in Dominica, or that maybe regionally, or what? How is it
Yeah, so
organized in that kind of way?
yeah, well, Dominica, at the moment within Dominica, I don't think there are any competitions as such, like in
Right,
Dominica, but we do have Dominican athletes that represent Dominica in the Olympics and in certain Commonwealth Games. So, for example, I'm not sure if you know Woody Lawrence.
yeah, I know
Yeah,
of him.
so
Yeah,
yes, so Woody Lawrence was Dominica's first Olympian, I think
Olympian.
back in 95 or something like that. I'm not sure if I got the year right. But Woody's a good friend of mine. So Woody comes to help me with teaching some swim classes as well.
Right,
So Woody is a president of the Dominica Swimming Association, and so we work very closely trying to promote swimming, water
right.
safety,
Hmm.
and trying to we're working on a contract right now so parents can actually come and sorry, parents and their children can come and learn swimming through the Dominica Swimming Association as well as the Dominica Olympics Committee.
Right,
So we do part of my job is also along with the other instructors, we sort of keep our eyes out for youths or people with potential to compete on an Olympics level to represent Dominica. And that is something that is the goal for us,
right.
to try and get the parents especially more engaged to want to get their children involved to compete on that international level. So
How do someone you see with that potential, what would it be like? Someone who has a natural affinity for water, somebody who's strong. How do you gauge out that talent?
well, when I see them swim, I can tell whether they have potential or not. It's just from their technique, their
Yeah,
ability their endurance, the ability to follow instructions as well. And most importantly is their commitment,
right,
because they may have the potential. But I've seen this a lot too. There's been a lot of children that have come past and they have immense potential, but there's no commitment on the part of the parents.
mm,
Parents just don't want to take them. And with swimming, it's like every sport. You have to practice, and if you want to compete on an Olympics level, you have to train pretty much every day. Some of them train twice a day.
right.
And that is a lot of commitment, and a lot of parents just can't commit, for whatever reason. Maybe it's financial or, so, there's a lot of factors at play there.
Right. And I think maybe what is our blessing is also our curse. What I mean
Yes,
by that is because we have so many rivers, it's so easy to just go to the river and have a freshwater bath and have fun and have recreation, as
yes,
opposed to in a different location where you don't have that, and so therefore kids mostly swim in pools, in swimming pools, and
yes.
so maybe that in itself, because they don't have to come to a pool to enjoy the water,
Mm.
it provides an alternative. But I really
Um,
like. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I'm just going to interrupt you.
No, no, no.
I'm very glad you mentioned that, Anthony, because this is something Father Coffey and I were talking about in terms of learning how to swim. He was asking me, where's the best place to learn how to swim? Now, my opinion is if you are a beginner and you want to learn how to swim, the pool is the safest
I
place.
think so too.
Okay. Yeah, because the pool is a controlled environment. Okay. And it's clean, we can see the ground, we know what's happening, there's no currents, nothing. It's a safe, controlled environment. And especially if your kids are wanting, if they have a phobia, they're afraid of water, the sea and the river, the currents are so strong. And a lot of the students that come to me have phobias because they've either been dragged out by the current or they've drowned because someone's just thrown them in and they're like, sink or swim, the sink or swim response. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So I always say once you've got the basics in the pool, then by all means, go to the sea, go to the river. And also when it comes to floating, it's a lot harder to float in the pool because salt water is denser. So a
right,
lot of people tell me they have no trouble floating in the ocean, but when they come to the swimming pool, they sink.
right,
So there's a technique. There is a technique. So I think if you can learn that technique to float in the pool, which is a lot harder, right? Then when you go to the ocean, it'll be a breeze. You know what I mean? Like when you
yeah,
train for something that's harder, and then later on, you have that endurance and the confidence already.
right.
So,
Because
yeah.
I remember, like I said, I remember learning to swim in the river because Casablanca has so many rivers,
Yes.
and I learned to float instinctively. I can float, but maybe maybe if I know of a technique, I would be better at it. Um,
Can you float though?
I can float. Yes, I can float.
Well, that's good. If you can float, then that's good.
Yeah, I can float because we spent so much time in the river when I was growing
Yes.
up. Because in the village, as a young child, we didn't have pipe-borne water, um,
Yeah.
so we did everything in the river: laundry, collect drinking
Yes.
water, um, go fishing, just hanging out in the rivers. And in
Yes.
Casablanca, we had a pretty wide river mouth where the rivers flow into the sea and the Casablanca Bay,
Yeah.
and so it was very wide, and there was a lot of it that was deep.
Yes.
And so if you wanted to enjoy that, you had to learn, you had to swim, you
There are
had to
lots of
float as well.
cannonballs in there as well.
Yeah, and somersaults, and
Yes.
we used to play fight. I mean, like
Yeah. That's
somersaults.
fun.
It was a lot of fun, but you had to be able to swim because as soon as you get away from the shore, especially
Mm-hmm.
as a child, you were in
Deep.
over
Yes.
your head, you were in deep. And so
Yes.
what I saw was as soon as people were able to get over their phobia, they would swim.
Yeah.
But somebody like you who's more professional might see it differently. And so that is what I like about what you do, is moving us from that instinctive, we still want the instinct, but if it can be scientific, I think
Yeah.
in addition to the instinct and the natural talent, if we can put science in there, we will have
Yes.
a tremendous result. And also, if we can raise children into adults with a healthy respect for safety, because I really want us to come back to safety.
Yes.
I work in construction and in the US, and I mean, almost the most expensive part of a construction project is taking care of safety
Mm-hmm.
issues. And
Occupational health and safety.
yeah,
Yes.
I also did that in
Oh,
manufacturing, industrial
yes.
hygiene and um, occupational health and safety. And
Mm-hmm.
I see folks post things on Facebook. They're up on a roof after Hurricane Maria. I just cringed. They're on a roof, 3
Mm-hmm.
stories high, on the
Yep.
edge, and they're not tied off. They,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
so,
They come
and
on site with open toe sandals and
yeah, we flip flops. They're up on
yes.
the construction site. We flip flops,
Yep.
and we see it with the motorcycles. We see it with our road fatalities, um,
Mm-hmm.
without seat belts, and so I
Yes.
think that apart from you teaching them to swim, by making them aware of safety as an important aspect of it, might spill over into other aspects of their lives. Um,
Yes.
wearing mask, wearing eye protection, fall prevention, and as you said, um, working near water and not anticipating for the accident that results in you being in the water. And so
Yep.
I am extremely happy for what you do. And
Thank
Doctor,
you.
Father Coffee is going to kill me if I don't let you talk a little bit about your collaboration with him for World Rivers Day. So tell us about what you and Father Coffee are cooking up, even if it's not solid as yet, but some of the ideas that you have for World Rivers Day.
Well, we've done a couple of radio talk shows already
Hmm.
on our collaboration. So basically, Father Cuffy is on the committee, the World Rivers Day committee, which he's so passionate
He
about.
is. He is.
And it's amazing because, World Rivers Day, a lot of people haven't heard of it or people don't understand what World Rivers Day is. And Father Coffee does a great job explaining the history. I mean, I'm not an expert. Yeah, I'll leave that part to him when he
Hmm.
comes on air next
Hmm.
week.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the important part about World Rivers Day is the water safety aspect. Because one of the things we talked about, was Dominica has so many beautiful rivers, and people are always in the rivers having baths and, bring their kids on the weekends and things like that. But the thing is, there's no, for a start, like Father Kafi was saying, there's no lifeguards. There should be lifeguards, paid people or paid person, sorry, just on standby to make sure that
Right.
everything is going well, even at the beach, especially at the beaches, whether you have tourists or local people, anywhere where there's water. So, and the river is so important. And, one of the things Malakavi talks about as well is the presence of these invasive plants there that, that affect the environment and things like that. But I'll leave that to him.
Hmm.
But one of the things we do link that in is because some of these invasive plants, they do get caught up. They're toxic. So the roots and the leaves are toxic. So if they do end up cutting somebody or, that person can end up getting a toxic attack in the
Right.
water. And
Right.
then that affects, the safety issue. So it comes back to the point where what measures are they putting in place? Have they got life jackets? Flotation devices. Or I mean, they're just happy, innocent people floating around, but they don't know. What if they get cut by a toxic plant or something like
Right.
that?
Right.
So, things like that. Um, so I guess, that the safety aspect being near the water as well, whilst you're enjoying the water, parents are so busy cooking, a lot of them they don't get a chance to actually go in the water. They leave the kids in the water to play. But then what if there's a current? What if there's
Right.
a strong current? It pulls the kids down while parents are busy cooking. So, things like that. So it's like enjoying the rivers, but at the same time having that balance as well. Like, bringing the awareness that you need to be cautious about safety issues. You can't take that for granted.
And also,
So
the mixing of alcohol,
exactly, yeah,
and being in the water.
yes,
We have a lot of work to do, and so
a lot.
I'm happy that we have I'm going to say professional, but experienced and trained, personalized, such as yourself, joining that fight or that challenge to develop our water recreation, our swimming in a more formal, a more scientific, a more
Yeah,
results driven way. And
yes,
and my wish
a
is that
holistic approach. We call
exactly.
it like, yeah,
And my wish is that you get rewarded with an Olympian swimmer in the next 1 or 2 Olympics, right? That would be the ultimate, um, I guess, result that shows the success of what you and Woody and the other people in the swimming association are doing. We really appreciate what you do. I was excited when when I learned about what you do, because I mean, as I said, my daughters and their kids, well, one of them have kids, were in Dominica for the entire month of July. We could have
yeah,
really brought them back to Houston, brought them back to Houston
Yay!
with a little bit of knowledge uh, around swimming, and because they went to the river, but this would have been, I think, a cherry on top for them. So next year,
Next time
next
they come
year,
down,
yeah,
definitely,
definitely.
definitely, yeah. I'll put
And
a special package together for
and
them.
now that I know, now that I know and I have your contact, you would know that they would be aware of you before they come,
Yes,
and work it that way. So it's
for
already nine.
sure.
It's already 9 p.m. I'm going to give you the opportunity to once again give out the information to folks how they can contact you. Um, Tell them again what are the services that you offer in terms
Yep,
of swimming and safety, and just all around that. Let's just summarize that for folks so that they can know that that
yep, sure.
resource is available locally.
Sure. So I offer swimming classes for all ages. There is no age limit on learning how to swim. I can tailor special packages as well. I also run a certificate program, level 1 to level 6. But if people are not interested in a certificate program, they can come and do just a basic swimming course so they know how to swim, they know how to float, they can save their own lives, basically. Okay. And I also offer pool hire services. So if anyone wants to hire the pool to have a birthday party,
Oh,
events, things like
mhm.
that, most welcome to do that. And I offer lifeguard training programs. Okay, lifeguard training, water safety programs. Um, I also do water rehab for patients who have injuries and who are recovering from surgery. So I work very closely with like emergency services personnel, like police officers, fire brigade officers who have injuries on the job that they've sustained. And I also do a lot of aquarobics and just basic water therapy fun classes for people in general and for elderly as well who just need some hydrotherapy and especially if they have arthritis, because water is very soothing. It doesn't have any wear and tear on your joints. So swimming is the best form of exercise as a doctor, I believe. It makes you use every single muscle in your body. And a lot of my students say, gosh, I didn't even know I was sore there. I say, yeah, that's because you've probably never used those muscles
Muscles,
before in
right?
your
Yeah.
life. So swimming is the best form of exercise, and it is not stressful on your body because when you get in the water doesn't have as much gravity as being on land. So it's not heavy on your joints, unlike, say if you're a football player or something, you might have wear and tear on your knees, on your hips, so on and so forth. So swimming is the best form of exercise. So and if people are interested, they can look me up on Facebook. It's called my swim school is called Phoenix Swim School and Pool Resort. I have an Instagram page as well under the same name, or they can WhatsApp me on 767-265-7309. So I hope I've summarized that. Did I leave
That
anything
did.
out, Anthony?
No, no, that did, and we did not even get to talk so much about the therapeutic side of it. I'm glad that you brought it up.
Yes,
So there are folks who may have like knee pain or back pains or that sort of thing.
yes,
They could come.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That is very, very good. Water therapy is very good because we do a lot of exercises too. That's easy. And even I do exercises for people who have scoliosis. For those of you who don't know what scoliosis is, it's a little curvature in your spine. So some people have very mild scoliosis, which they don't even know, which means that their spine's a little bit curved, so may cause a little bit of back issues. Or I have people who have been through surgery for scoliosis. So swimming is very good because we try and strengthen the back muscles and help them to realign their spine again. So
Oh wow, you can
there's
do all that
just
with
so
swimming.
many benefits. Yeah, so many
Wow.
benefits in the water. Honestly, that's why it's the best.
All right. So
I'm just biased, right?
so today we spoke about swimming and water safety. Maybe we
Yes.
need a whole new program to just talk about
Yes.
water therapy and
Yes,
healing
yes, definitely. What is
aqua
it?
healing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
and mental health, we tie that
Yeah, we did.
into mental health as
We did.
well.
Yeah. So definitely we need to have you back. And
Oh, thank you. I'd be honored.
yeah, so yeah, because today we spoke about more about the swimming, the safety, and so on, but we didn't get to
Yes,
talk about the healing and the rehabilitation and all of that.
yes,
So I really genuinely believe that's a topic on its own, and
yep.
so
We don't have enough time for that.
I will reach out and we can focus on that
Sure,
aspect of it. Yeah, because I have a friend
definitely.
from Guadeloupe who used to take patients to France just
Ah, okay.
for aqua therapy.
Yeah,
They would go to these institutions in France, and folks with
yes,
arthritis and stuff like that would get treated for like 6 weeks and then come back.
yes.
Um, so I think there's another reason. And besides Father Coffee dragging you back, he might drag you back next week. Talk about World Rivers Day. I suspect he might.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we can talk. I'm very interested in the water therapy, aqua healing, and that sort of thing. So
Yep.
let me let you go.
I
It's a color. Go ahead.
definitely.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say because it's also creating awareness for Dominicans that there is a service here,
Right.
that's available because I guess my swim school is still fairly new. So it's getting word out that yes, we're here, just letting
Right.
people know that we are here. Because I've heard also, Father Coffee told me there's a group of parents that actually took their kids to, I'm not sure if it's Antigua or
Saint
somewhere
Lucia.
for St. Lucia, sorry, yes, for a swim camp, summer camp.
Yeah.
And I said, and he didn't know that I offer summer camps. So I said, well, that's the thing. It's trying to get the awareness out because if people know that there is a service right in their backyard, right
Right.
here in Dominica,
Exactly.
I'm sure they want to come here rather than have to fly all the way to, to France or St. Lucia. So
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah. So there's definitely some potential in there. So, Dr. Ashby,
yeah,
thank you so much
definitely.
for your time, and thank you
You're
for
most
agreeing
welcome.
so
Thank
readily to
you,
come on.
Anthony. I'm so
Yeah.
honored. Thank you
Yeah,
for
and,
having me
and
on.
it's wonderful meeting you and learning of your services. I think it's well needed in Dominica, and it's well suited for Dominica. So I wish
I'm
you
glad.
continued success, continued energy, and continued encouragement and enthusiasm. And
Thank you.
let's stay in touch. As I said, we come back to do the
Yes.
the healing aspect of it, and
Yes,
as
definitely.
as we go forward, see as we identify talent, committed talent, maybe we can follow them and see. Um,
Definitely,
in,
definitely. I'll have to drag Woody into that one.
there you go. I would love that. I would love that interview with him as well. I'm Olympian. All right. So, folks, well, thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Ashby,
you.
and
You're welcome. Thank
you
you,
can
Anthony.
you can find you very well. You're very very welcome. It was my pleasure. You can find her swim school on Facebook, on Instagram. It's Phoenix Swim School and Pool Resort, and she's also on WhatsApp 767-265-7309. And so, good evening, and thank you so much. All right. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Uh, it, I am passionate about water, but it wasn't about me tonight. It wasn't about water treatment. It wasn't about water systems or construction of water bottling plants, which is where my interaction is with water is. It's actually about being in the water as a swimmer. And so I want to thank my guests. I want to thank you for staying with us through the hour. And let's see. Next week, I have Father Coffee. He's going to come to talk about World Rivers Day, which is going to be on September 28th. And Father Coffee has been counting down the days to World Rivers Day. In Dominica, we need that. We need to develop a greater and more obvious appreciation for that wonderful resource that we have of fresh water that's just keeping us healthy and keeping us fresh, keeping us proud of being Dominican. Check out Write to Kubuli if you're a writer. That's the virtual literary festival that's scheduled for September 15th to the 20th. If you have a book, you have poems, you have whatever, contact us. Sam, I don't know if you want to put that up on the screen so folks can see it again. uh, you write to Kubuli Virtual Literary Festival. You can register to participate. Registration is free, and we would love to know of your work, of your books, and so on. Uh, and folks, if you're celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you. Anniversaries as well. I don't think we're still in graduation season, but back to school. A lot of folks are going back to school. I hope you had a great summer break. And of course, in New York and some of the other areas, we're preparing for Labor Day Carnival in Brooklyn and so on. So, folks, I'm going to say good night and see you again next week, Wednesday, for another episode of This Week in Interview. Good night. Stay there.